Thanks a lot, Anthony. I'd just like to start by saying good afternoon and bonjour to some of my colleagues out there from Quebec. Much appreciated for coming here all this way to London. And I know Anthony just said I've been 34 years in the Canadian mining market, but I do have an accent. I am from Liverpool. Just not how we speak in Winnipeg, but just make sure you know that I have been living in Canada for 34 years. So we'd like to thank the Canadian Mining Symposium and the team with the Mining Magazine as well. I appreciate that. Sandvik Mining, if you're not aware of this, is we're the world leader in the underground and surface mining technologies. We have 15,000 employees globally, and we've been forefront on digital, and we're going to talk about now in the digital space and technology. In the upcoming slides, we're going to summarize some of the impact we've had on the Canadian mining industry. And this will illustrate in some of the slides that I'm going to show you about how we as a supplier are working closely with the mining companies to do the things that Steve and Peter and Mark talked about this morning. So first off, I'd like to just, Canadian mining is rapidly changing towards a digital future. I think this slide sums up some of the reasons we have to do that. The marketplace and the economical developments requires that the mining manage their cost. So we're being asked by our customers to look at the cost to improve their cost per ton, their cost per meter, and also focus on the unit cost per meter and cost per ton. So that's where our organization is starting to focus. While doing this, obviously we have to do it safely. So we're identifying the best way to safely do this with our customers. As we all know, I think we all know, we're in the midst of we'll call it a mega trend. These are the three business areas we call automation, digitization, and electrification. We're not going to talk today about electrification, but there's an awful lot in that space happening in Canada due to ventilation restrictions. So a portfolio that we offer to help our customers connected equipment. So we're connecting this equipment today and have been for some time. The analytics process through our OptiMine systems, where we're actually gathering the data in real time and showing it to the customers so that they can see what's happening in their mine in real time. And then obviously the autonomous and the automation equipment, which is our AutoMine systems for loaders and trucks. And again, optimization of the fleet. This slide here is just a reference slide to show us Sandvik's been in the forefront. If you're not aware that this technology has been happening for some time, we've been doing these, introducing these technologies since early 90s, and in 2005 we actually delivered the AutoMine launch of our technology. We currently have the largest connected underground mining fleet in the world. It might be a surprise to people, but there's 3,000 machines currently connected. So we're gathering that equipment and that analytics that comes from that to obviously improve our customers' measured information. This slide just shows one of the families of the product offering, which is the OptiMine system. It's a product family that actually is enabled to real-time production management, which basically is the brain tied to the process and the IoT side of our business, which actually provides the customer with the visibility so that you can actually target improvements of the OEE, which is the overall equipment efficiency, and use the production hours, which you can see on the right-hand side here, is when we use this information, we then can effectively increase the hours of operation, which in this instance obviously increases productivity. So from the process control, we can then move to automation, which we've been very successful implementing our AutoMine solutions at many of the Canadian mines in Canada. I want to emphasize that this has been happening for an awful long time in Canada, and I think it's not being made relevant to the business outside of Canada, but Canada is a leading edge in this technology, and it improves the utilization when going through shift change, obviously, and blast clearing, because a lot of the mines in Canada, as we heard earlier, are deep. They're being redeveloped at depth, and that means time to travel to the site is a much longer process, so we have to optimize that period of time, and that's been our focus area with quite a few customers in Canada. So from the AutoMine technology, our customers actually advised us that, yes, we're using the AutoMine system to capture equipment and fleet data from our own equipment. So I'm happy to say that in April of this year, and I'm joined by Alex Savinka, who's sitting in the audience over here. He's the president of Nutrax. They joined the Sandvik family because we had to obviously not only bring the technology that our equipment delivers in regards to maintenance, but we also had to then look at the IoT of the rest of the mine, the connectability of control and people. So Nutrax, so this brings us to this acquisition. Nutrax has many capabilities, including telemetry, machine health, on other fleet, not just Sandvik. So that means we can bring the complete message and information to the site rather than just on the Sandvik equipment. So Nutrax will continue to develop their technologies independent of Sandvik, so that they'll be offering this system to non-Sandvik mines as well. So this is a focus, and we need to keep that moving forward. And one of the aspects of obviously taking on Nutrax into our portfolio was that you can't manage what you don't measure. So you need to measure everything that's happening at the site, not just the equipment telemetry. So that's, again, a very big part of what Nutrax brings Sandvik. Just a map, you might be surprised, and I know I heard a lot this morning about the industry, but there's an awful lot going on from the supplier side. There's an awful lot of R&D being done. Sandvik alone in 2018, we put close to $500 million in R&D, predominantly around electrification of our equipment. And here you can see where we've actually got some between Nutrax and Sandvik, where we have this fleet of equipment and non-Sandvik equipment now delivering data and giving more visibility, obviously, to the businesses of our customers. I wanted to just maybe bring up some of the customers, and it was interesting. And Mark's not here now, but I'm sure his team in Hemlo, where he visited a few months back, would be very pleased for us to mention about their success. The Barrick Hemlo mine has been in operation for 26 years, but since 2007, they really introduced automation into Canada. We have 3 automated trucks operating underground since 2007, and 3 automated chutes and 2 automated rock breakers, and all operated by one man. So you can see, this message, I think, is a little stealthy in the Canadian segment, and we need to get this out into the industry, because that mine is operating predominantly because of this transfer level, and Mark knows that. And then actually, we're now involved in the next level of drill automation, which will bring more quality to the mine. But some staggering numbers, as you can see, 53% of all mine tons handled through the AutoMine system in the last 3 years. It's an amazing achievement by the mine. And then we have some other examples, of our customers. I'm not going to go through all of them, but massive change in regards to productivity when you start looking at automation being used. And again, this is really focused at the non-productive time, shift changes, blast clearing. It's amazing what you can actually achieve. So all in all, customers benefit in 3 ways, and that's by adopting our digital solutions, which is not just automation, it's the data coming from the mine infrastructure. Increased production through, as I just explained, the use of the equipment through non-productive times, which will produce lower cost per ton and improved health and safety, because we're taking people away from the risk. But don't take my word for it. These people, these stories are there, and we would welcome the opportunity to speak further with any of you today about the suppliers' involvement in what we're trying to do in this mining industry, because we play a major part. We have to keep pace with what you're trying to do, obviously, to develop these mines at a low cost. So, quick, I know you're running behind and I'm moving this along, so how it will digitalize and change your business. Sandvik would welcome the opportunity at any point, at any time in the future, to be a part of any discussions you want to have. Again, in the design of mine, I will advise that as we are designing these mines, please don't chintz on the infrastructure. You need to put the technology and the infrastructure in place prior to the design of the mine. It gets a lot more expensive when we start doing it after the design of the mine. So let's keep technology at the forefront, and we look forward to working with you in the near future. Thank you.